All right? And then he says, never see. See? That's right here. I'll show you the lexicon. Derel. You'll never behold. You'll never be a spectator. Okay? That's what he said. All right? But what do they say? Oh, no, they're twisting. They immediately do awong. They twist. Okay? Taste of. Gomai. Okay, and this is famously used in the book of Hebrews, but I don't have time for that. Okay, guo. See, they're adding to what he said. You get that? That's why they can't hear him. Everything he says, what's coming out of his mouth is not what they hear. They reprocess it. You see that in YouTube comments all the time. You'll say A and the person will insist that you said B. But you didn't. And it's in print. And yet they can't read it. Alright? He didn't say you'd never taste of death. He's saying Teoreo. Okay? You'll never be a spectator. Alright? It's used for hazeh in Chaldean and ra'ah. Alright? Ra'ah means to see. That's the root basic Hebrew word for to see. Because all this stuff you have to understand is Hebraism. Alright? View attentively. In other words, you're never going to be in the stadium of death. That's really what he's talking about here. You're never going to be in the stadium of death. You're never going to be at the games of death. See? You know, I hope you know that in the Roman times, you had games where you watched a lot of people die, and that was called entertainment. He's saying you ain't going to be there. That's where hell is. Okay? But they change it to you'll never taste of death. They're distorting his word. See? Taste. Guomai. Guo, actually. See? Try the flavor of. Well, sure, everybody's going to taste of death. See, they're twisting his words. So that's why they don't recognize this play on Exodus 3. Alright? They're twisting his words. Alright. Okay, now we're in another increment. Okay, on the left-hand side this time, we are where we left off, where he is making a statement that only God can make. Alright, well here, this was his statement, the Lord's statement. The Jews now twist what he said to taste. See, he says see, and that's really be a spectator, be in the stadium of death. Okay, watching it like you did at the Roman games. Alright, and they play the Satan game. Never taste of death. Alright, and the word for death, thanatos, and that thanatos specifically means the expiration, the soul leaving the body. It's talking about soul death. Not like the soul terminates, but the soul leaves the body. That's what thanatos always means. Okay. Alright, they copy that part, but then they put in taste of. They're twisting his words in order to make him a liar. See, he's saying you won't be a spectator in the stadium of death. The stadium of death, of course, being hell, where everybody's watching, everybody's screaming. But they're saying never taste of it. Alright? Same thing as the woman did in the garden, twisting the word of God. Alright? So, but for all of their screwing up of what he said in verse 51, they now finally Are you greater? You're not greater than Abraham, are you? Who are you? And I like this translation, the NASB. Who do you make yourself out to be? It's really, who do you allege you are? Okay? See? This is poiao and heiao too. It's yourself, really. Okay? Who do you make yourself be? Who do you make yourself? Okay? I don't want to spend time on the Greek here because it's not that important. All right? Who do you allege that you are? Finally, they're asking the right question. Of course, he's been telling them since chapter 6. All right. And now that they ask, he's not answering them yet. He's giving them another little hint by referencing the Shekinah glory. Hello, the Shekinah glory filled the temple. All right, wasn't filling it now because they were apostate. But the temple is still up. See? Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Yeah, I'm just showing you Strong's because it's not even, it's not that important. Doxaxo is to glorify. All right? And then doxa, the Shekinah glory. All right? Now, so now they're asking, who is he, when he's been telling them ever since chapter 6. And instead of answering, he's still talking back to 5:50 rather. I don't seek my own glory. If I glorify myself, it's nothing. It's my Father who glorifies me. Because they're not listening to his testimony. And so he's sort of roping them here. It's not me making myself out to be anything. I'm not seeking my own glory. It's Father who glorifies me, of whom you say he is your God. In other words, they're claiming he alleges, so he talks back to them, they're alleging. Doesn't this begin to sound like YouTube comments where everybody argues back and forth? There was a lot of that he had to do. Because there are a lot of dingbats in the world. Okay? So, you're alleging that Father is God. Well, it's my Father who I've been telling you about since verse 38. Remember, para? With my Father, beside my Father, I was beside my Father, verse 38 and 40. Okay? You allege this same Father is God. Okay, well, it's my Father who glorifies me, but of course they're not. And by saying that, he's referencing the Shekinah glory, because the Shekinah glory depicted the glory of Messiah to come, because the temple depicted Messiah to come.